Oh, yes.
Up here.
A rematch.
Yeah, right down the barrel. We've got Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. Now, this fight is looking to be an absolute scrap for the duration. We've seen these guys come together once before. In the red corner, you got your 26-5. And then in the blue corner, it's 15-6. So a little bit more experience on the Pantoja's side. And of course, these guys, as I mentioned, they've matched up before. They've been here already. Height-wise, the taller fighter is, of course, the blue corner. That's Royval. And reach-wise, there's not a lot in it. These guys are pretty fairly evenly matched on limb similarities.
This could be very much a back and forth scramble on the ground like it was in the first fight. Predominantly. However, I do think that as of recent, Brandon Royval has homed it in a little bit and hasn't been too reckless with things. This is going to be a 5-round fight, of course, and it's going to be for a belt. So maybe we can see it being a little bit more slower on the feet, perhaps. Having said that, that Pantoja Brandon Moreno fight was absolute chaos. You know, that was back and forth and so close and arguably probably one of the best fights of the year.
Yeah. When you say so, you mean like tentative in the strike?
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe Royval might be a little bit hesitant in even initiating in any kind of clinch scenario or any grappling scenario with Pantoja, having been submitted by him last time out in the second round. You know, the way he was able to get the back and finish him with the rear naked choke was really good. So, and not only that, Pantoja was a step ahead of him every single time in the grappling exchanges.
Yeah.
There was only one instance in the first round where Brandon Royval had Pantoja in any kind of danger, and that was when he was going for the leg lock. Yeah. Sometimes guys will go for a leg locks in order to create scramble to get back to their feet. It looked like Royval was trying to finish him in that exchange.
But Pantoja was really calm, and that's what you get with Pantoja, don't you? You get this kind of this calmness, which is just unfitting for the amount of chaos and aggression he brings to the octagon. It's wild. But then, he in that first fight, in the stand-up, I have to say, it was the leg kicks from Royval I was really impressed with. I wish it kind of continued a little bit longer, but that was something that I think he did quite well.
That's true. Yeah, and it was looking like Royval was the fresher fighter out of the two. Really?
Yeah. On like stand-up output-wise, he was just egging to get going, and the power sat with Pantoja, but the output was definitely there for Royval.
Yeah.
Touched him wherever he could.
And not only that, he kind of fights a lot longer than Pantoja. Pantoja will use a lot of head movement to get inside and will land with kind of boxing in close quarters, whereas Royval's capable of kicking you from distance and lunging forward with shots. So, it's whether or not he can catch Pantoja, though.
That's a big ask, yeah. That's a big ask, whether or not he can. And I think for Pantoja, it's he's not going to be afraid of going to the ground with Royval. He's done it before. Royval's always usually quite good in that area with most of his fights as well. In fact, the whole exchange happened because Brandon went for the takedown, and it was Pantoja was able to reverse it and obviously get into that. Really, I mean, it's inevitable with Pantoja when he hits the ground. It's like he finds the back almost every single time.
He's so good with it.
Incredible. So look, he's great with it. I think in terms of this affair, who wants it standing? Do you reckon it would cancel each other out, or Royval wants it standing?
I think he's got a better chance at. Yeah. If it goes to the ground, it's like, well, I can see Pantoja submitting him. If it's on the feet, I think it's a little bit more evenly contested. Yep. So I think, Royval's best chances is to catch him. Not only that, the way that Royval finished Matey Boy last time out,
Schnell?
Not Matt Schnell, Mateus Nicolau, was like so impressive. It was a short knee, just as Nicolau was level changing, or was he level changing? No, I think he was going for an overhand right.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like it was just a straight knee off of the front leg, but it wasn't. It was the back leg,
and it wasn't the bone.
Yeah, and like madness. So there's little moments like that which you can see Royval potentially having some success.
Yeah. And I think the reason why that works so well for Royval is he just he steps into the octagon, he overrides his opponent's senses of if you're trying to read your opponent, find out what's coming next, he does a lot of feints, a lot of wild movements. Your brain's downloading a lot of data, thinking what's coming, and then he just throws some completely wild in there, like that knee, of course. And he caught Nicolau slipping, really. Zigged when he should have zagged. And he can do that scenario once again. It's a high output pace. Pantoja's going to be completely fully aware. He has to remain fully aware. I do think that he's quite calm, Pantoja, so he's not going to bite too much on the feints that Royval keeps throwing him. But for me, I think that's how Royval really excels in his fights. He is biting on. He is seeing a lot of different mixed signals. Quick question for you before you get a chat up as well is with Royval. Do you think this is it's a deserved matchup to be fighting Pantoja? He just got a win off of Nicolau and Schnell, and this is by far the toughest fight he's some of the toughest opponents he's gone against in the division. He's only lost to Pantoja.
Yeah,
and Moreno.
I think you could have made the argument before, because I think at the time, I'm not sure if he leapfrogged Nicolau at that time. I'm not kind of sure. I don't think he did. But before that, like, Nicolau was on a bit of a tear. Yeah. So you could have made that argument. Not only that, you also had Kai France was coming off of a loss. Angus, is some of you may all know, has been campaigning for Amir Albazi to get the next shot.
Right.
Because, he's on a 6-fight win streak. And of course, coming off a win against Kai France, who was a previous title challenger. So yeah, there was arguments to be made. I don't actually know why Royval. Royval's last 3 wins: Bontorin, split decision, guillotine choke match Schnell, and then knocked out Mateus Nicolau in impressive fashion, and got performance and a night bonus. Whereas Albazi, though, okay, he beat Kai France, but that's probably the only
other one
solid win, really. No disrespect to, obviously, the other fighters, Sandro Costa and Francisco Figueiredo, but, look at those wins that he's had. Malcolm Gordon, submission. So that win streak he's on, 3 submissions and a knockout. So, yeah, 4 finishes. Pretty impressive, but I don't know. He's next in line, that's for sure.
Yeah, that much we know. And I guess we've got some exciting contenders in that division we'd like to see move their way up a little bit more as well. Yeah. Kai had his chance, and,
I say he's the next contender. He's fighting Brandon Moreno now. Obviously, if you beat Brandon Moreno, you're there anyway. But if you lose, then would Brandon Moreno then get another crack at Pantoja? Difficult when he's lost to him twice. So that's going to be a conversation for later on during the Aftermath show and during the watch along, should it happen. But Breezy at the moment says, I'm just relieved that Figgy Moreno era is over, man. Some new, fresh championship fight. Do I think this will be as good as their era? No. They were great fights. I think Pantoja controls this for a decision. Wow. Okay.
Nicely said, man. That's really well put. Decision. I don't think the decision's mad. But I don't think that's likely here. Not, just with the fact that Royval is, he's in firefights, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's in firefights. It's going to be exciting, and this is going to be another firefight in the flyweight division. And historically, when you see how those goes, it's not going to be Pantoja's chin, I don't think, but I think Royval's chin can go.
Tony Young says Pantoja wins. It will be scrappy. Breezy says Pantoja promised it after the Moreno fight.
Makayev
and he also says Makayev going to be champ. Well, here's the thing, and obviously we'll get into the conversation a little bit later on, but to kind of freshen up the division, if Moreno was to beat Albazi, then that could pave the way for Makayev to get a crack, potentially.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe
a lot of these rematchups. I mean, let's be honest. Brandon Moreno, Albazi is probably the first person he's fought that's not been a rematch of some kind in years.
I think Brandon Moreno could end up just being the flyweight Max Holloway.
Yeah,
Really. He would have to beat Albazi, beat someone else in order to get a crack again.
Yeah, largely because we're a little bit bored of these rematches.
Yeah.
But yeah, another division might come a bit sooner. I'll get the gauges up. Any more chats?
Not of them. Oh, one which we'll read a bit later on because Raphael chimed in about Thompson. Actually, I'll do it now.
Nice.
He says Thompson's use of the punch is significant rather than it look to merely touch his opponent and then follow up or slide away. He will occasionally spring into the punch with power. And that's very true. That is true. He's got very good straight shots down the middle, but should it be enough against someone like Shavkat is the ultimate question. But as for the gauge then for this kind of main event then, Striking wise, very difficult.
Let's get power down there right now for Pantoja.
Yeah,
I think that's where it would be. And then with striking, Royval's got a lot of output. Royval's, I like how Pantoja sets it up. Pantoja sets up so beautifully. So
he does. And not only that, I would probably give speed to Royval. It was something. I think speed and distance management could be quite key in this fight for him. Just kind of his ability to move quite quickly away from the strikes. One thing I want to add, guys, after this stream, if you're still awake, do check out the stream that myself and Ash did for this fight. It was back when it was Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum, and it was our worst watch along because one, we were ridiculously tired. And fatigued, so we were struggling to watch it. And then not only that, the audio was terrible as well. Make sure you should check that out because it's just funny. It's just funny. It's just us, two of us, just trying to get through it all.
I think you sold it, JK. I think
I've sold it. Yeah, it's all right.
But aside from that, I think if we're gonna talk about who gets on grappling, that's also really hard. I think this is difficult. We can probably just say, right, one each. One you get striking, one you get grappling.
I mean, we'll give grappling to Pantoja purely because he's got the submission winner last time out, and the guy's a monster on the ground. And he was winning those exchanges, so that's a given. That's probably the easiest one.
You think so?
Because
Royval likes to initiate those exchanges.
He's good, he's good. He likes to initiate him. Pantoja's just a step ahead for me. Cardio-wise, though, I'd probably give to Royval.
On the cardio,
Yeah.
I think we saw in that fight as well, didn't we? We did see in that fight the first time round. He was a little bit gassed.
Because, Pantoja was initiating a lot of the grappling exchanges, which made him more tired.
I think it was Royval who was.
No.
Pantoja was really was able to turn it around. And that was when he's got the sub anyway. That was initiated by Royval to begin with.
Yeah. Pantoja was using a lot more energy.
He was.
To stay on top of it than Royval. Obviously, Royval was using a lot of energy to try and get out of position. But I just felt that Royval was just a bit more conditioned in those areas.
Right.
At the time.
So he's still on striking, which is tough.
Man.
Who takes it, guys? Who gets the strike on the Martinis too? I could go Royval because in that last fight, I feel like that's when he looked the best. Is when he was able to touch Pantoja, and Pantoja's got a sneaky power though. Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
like, he touches you with power, and all of a sudden your game plan unravels.
I think because they're flyweights and because they're so quick, I think Pantoja's gonna potentially be better at finding the mark. Yeah. In close quarters, perhaps, or I don't know. I think Royval can do damage on the feet. Because it's 5 rounds as well. I don't know. It's too hard for me.
It's really tough. If I press striking and it goes to Pantoja, that wouldn't be too bad. If I press and it goes to Royval, I would wonder why.
Who's going to use it best?
Yeah, I'll go with Pantoja in this instance. Because his power and his strike is just going to come together really effectively. I think.
To be fair, I think if Pantoja's able to execute takedowns, then I think it will make Pantoja's striking better later on because Royval will be anticipating the takedowns more.
Yep.
And therefore, Pantoja's going to land more. That's my only thought.
Fair enough. People are called for a draw. Yeah.
Although if it is a slow fight and it's tentative on the feet, then maybe perhaps Royval picks it up.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Depends on pace.
And look, I think how I feel like this is going to pan out might be a bit tentative to start with. There'll be a lot of feints from Royval, and Pantoja is just going to stay calm and collected as he always does. But he's going to be touching and looking for opportunities and setting traps for Royval. And when he does catch him with power, all of a sudden Royval's going to be looking to perhaps grapple with him to avoid it. And that is really where Pantoja is going to be lying and waiting for him, I think.
Don't get me wrong, you know, Royval could easily take Pantoja's back in a scramble. You know, it's possible because he is also that good as well. And it could come down to who's able to take the back first.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think that's how it would unravel personally. But then it all starts with that power being the key to unlock the door. To,
Nolan's in the house.
Defense.
Yes, Nolan.
Nolan Zebra.
He says, "Hey fellas, hope you guys are well. Thanks for the love after my dad's passing. No bother, brother. No good. Good to know that you're all good and good to see you back. Says hopefully catch you at the weekend. Yes, Nolan. Got to be there because we've got a lot happening this weekend for the last pay-per-view, the last card of the year.
Man.
You've got to be there. And we'll be giving away some prizes for the very first time as well. So you got to make sure you're sticking in for that. We'll explain towards the back end of the breakdown show what that's going to look like, how that's going to go down, so make sure you stick around for that.
Yes.
Breezy says 100% takedown accuracy for Royval. Critical stat, to be fair. That is true. Very, very true. That's it, guys. Give Nolan some love in the chats. Taylor Young says, hope you're all right. Nolan. Draw, says Breezy.
Yeah.
Maybe. Look. Brandon and Edwards take them belts, says Benji Ramirez. Welcome in, Benji. Smash the like on the video, brother, and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. So there, that's Benji's predictions. Get more predictions in the chat. Smash that like button. Breezy says, at this weight class, if someone has speed, do they take striking? Thoughts behind this being getting behind the jab, landing it faster could be huge. Good shot from Breezy there. I like that input.
At this weight class, you're not wrong. It's something I was thinking about as well, because speed does unlock a lot in the striking sense. It does, as much as power can too. I think output is something you're going to see from Royval, but just because you have the output of striking doesn't necessarily per se mean that you're going to have the better striking.
Yeah,
I think it's we got to really look at the kicks, the skill set of your striking as well. I think you're going to see those uppercuts from Pantoja. I reckon you are going to see some setting up as well. But yeah, generally with Royval as well, he's a firefighter, like we mentioned. So he loves bringing the brawls and getting people in those close encounters.